Okay, sidewalks. Now, again, for those of you that watch my videos know that I do not recommend riding on sidewalks, especially in city environments. Why? Because you have cars jutting out of driveways, you have cars, you have pedestrians, you have buildings that block people's view, you have a lot of hazards. So with that said, what are the laws on riding on the sidewalk? Well, again, the red states there's no law, so that means that you're not prohibited. Now there's a caveat here. For example, you notice California is a red state, meaning there's no law prohibiting or allowing bicyclists to ride on the sidewalk. Now, most city governments actually could make a law about certain parts of the city, about certain sidewalks, about certain areas, about parks or whatever. So you have to really be careful because even though these states don't have laws, there still are a lot of city ordinances. So at this stage, you really can't just stop at the state law level. You really have to drill down to your city laws, and you really have to look, like, for example, in Los Angeles, you look at Los Angeles Municipal Code, which does allow riding on sidewalks, but there are several parts of the city where it says in the code where you're not allowed to ride on the sidewalks. So it's really frustrating because you may not even think to look at the city code and think about that, especially if you're going through multiple cities. You know, you could actually get a ticket for something you have no idea you're violating. So again, for sidewalks, it's not enough just to know your state law, but you should look at the city law as well. Now, so red states, there's no law, which means you can probably do it, but you have to check city code. In the orange states, it's prohibited, which is very interesting. There's like 4 states here where you cannot ride on the sidewalk at all. There's a few purple states, which means that it's allowed if indicated. Now, for example, like Georgia, you're not allowed to be on the sidewalk unless there's a sign saying you can be on the sidewalk, which is really kind of a backwards way of doing it if you think about it. That means they have to put up signs everywhere that they allow bicyclists to ride. So I'm not really sure how that developed, but there's only a few states like that. And then the rest of them are either allowed with exceptions, which are the blue states, and just allowed outright. And it actually says in the vehicle code, bicycles are allowed on sidewalks. So in that case, you probably don't have to look at the city codes because you could argue that the state code overrides. However, I would still be careful because they'll still hassle you for that, and it'd be hard to fight. You'd be right, but it would be hard to fight. And again, allowed with exceptions. Usually in the blue states, the exception is something like business districts, or again, places where, as I say, it's very dangerous to anyway to ride on sidewalks. So again, you have to familiarize yourself with your vehicle code. But the green states, you're good across the board. Real quick note on New Jersey, if you're riding a horse, then you cannot ride on the sidewalk, but bicycles are okay. So I'm not really sure how that ended up in the laws for New Jersey, but horses, not okay, bicyclists, okay.